Hey guys, this is Matt here. I just wrapped up sanding this John Holly. Yeah, cleaned up really good. It should be a great beater board. You remember this section here that was really soft? You can feel now how strong it is. It doesn't feel soft at all. It feels good. Everything feels smooth. I was thinking about some other sanding tips I could give you guys while I was doing this board. One is to wear a long sleeve t-shirt if you haven't been sanding surfboards for a while. This dust, when it's mixed with the fiberglass patch, can get itchy and irritate your skin. So this will protect your forearms. That's the probably most vulnerable part of your body when you're sanding to this dust. I've been doing it for so long though now it doesn't bother me at all. But if you do feel itchy after sanding, put some talc or some baby powder on it. It'll feel better. Avoid taking a hot shower because that will just make it feel even itchier. And when I'm sanding, I'm just going around with a 60 grit pad or an 80 grit, feathering with the orbital sander first from the inside out, just around the edges, not touching it too much in the center, just very lightly. And the apex of the rails I'm always usually doing by hand, because the orbital sander tends to over sand that. You know, when you have a rounded edge meeting the flat pad of the orbital sander, it tends to cut really fast. So I just take those down by hand. And so like a 60 or an 80 grit is like your workhorse for the sanding paper. That just flushes it out. And once it's flush, you go back over it with like a 120, and that'll take out the scratches and give it a nice finish. Well, nice enough for a board this old. You know, it's glossed or, you know, tinted. You want to go even finer than that. And when you're sanding, once you got it flush, you want to keep the scratches of the sandpaper going like one consistent direction, like this. You don't want to be all over the place like this. Like, just keep them going one direction, and that helps it blend in really nice as well. That's especially important when you get into the finer sanding. And when you're doing that, the scratches are going the same direction, and so each time you hit it with a finer and finer sandpaper, those scratches get smaller and smaller with every finer grit you use. Yeah, so this feels good. This is a good enough repair for this kind of caliber board. If this is a higher end board, something that's really glossy, I've seen people paint one final layer of sanding resin over the patch just to give it a really good seal. But you know, for something like this, just like a total rider beater, you can just call it quits. The sand the lamb. You know, I rarely paint back over it with sanding resin, or, you know, some people use gloss, but you know, these boards are pretty beat I work on, so not really worth it. But there it is, the John Holly, ready to surf, looking good. I'll see you in the next repair.